In this video, we are going to talk about how to draw covalent bonds. Your topic is covalent drawing, and your goal is I can draw covalent bonds. So, pretty self-explanatory there. So in order to do this, we need to review what valence electrons are. They are the electrons found in the outermost energy level. And to remind you guys how to find the number of valence electrons, if you look at your periodic table, if it's in this first column, it has 1 valence electron. If it's in the second column, it has 2. We skip the transition metals. This column has 3. This column has 4. This column has 5. The column with oxygen has 6. The column with fluorine has 7. And the column with helium, all the noble gases, have 8. So here, how many valence electrons does chlorine have? If we look at our periodic table, chlorine is right here. Since chlorine is in this column, a little cheat sheet, if you look at whatever number this is, just take the 1 off, and that tells you how many valence electrons. So chlorine's right here, so it has 7 valence electrons. The second one says how many valence electrons does oxygen have? So if you look at oxygen, right here where it says 16, just take that 1 off, so it has 6 valence electrons. You do need to know that for this section. So if you are confused on how to figure out how many valence electrons it has, please let me know so I can help you out with that. Okay, Lewis structures. So we talked about this last unit, but we just talked about single elements. Now we're going to start talking about it in terms of covalent compounds, or more than one element. So in this case, dots are used for non-bonding electron. For each dot you have, that is 1 electron. Lines are used for bonding pairs of electrons. So one line, since it's a pair of electrons, would count as 2 electrons. All atoms must have 8 electrons in some combination around it to be happy, except for hydrogen, which only needs 2 electrons to be happy. Steps in building the Lewis structure. You do need to write down all of these steps in your notes section. So step 1, add up the number of valence electrons that can be used for each element. Step 2, form a single bond between the center element and all the other elements. Step 3, place the dots in pairs around the elements besides hydrogen till you have the total number of valence electrons that you found out in step 1. And then step 4, move dots or make double or triple bonds until every element has 8 around it except for hydrogen, which only needs 2. So if you need to, go ahead and pause the video right here so you can finish typing out those steps, and then on the next slide I will explain and show you examples on how to draw the valence electrons. Our first example is going to be NH3. I will always have it drawn out just like this right here at the bottom, so you know where the element should be located. So if we look at our step 1s, add up the number of valence electrons that can be used. So here we have NH3. So we look at our periodic table for N's right here, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 valence electrons. 5. And then we'll look at hydrogen, which is right here, only has 1. Now we have 3 hydrogens, so we'll need to put 1 3 times. And I know that because of this number right here. So since I have 3 hydrogens, I put a 1 for each. So now that we have all those numbers, we need to add those numbers up. So that'd be 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons. That's how many we have to deal with. Step 2, form a bond between the center elements and all the other elements. So I'm going to draw a line from the center element and all the other elements. I'm color coding so you know what step I did what. Okay, so that is step 2. Now, we talked about each line represents 2 electrons. So here we have 2, 4, 6 electrons. Step 3. Place dots in pairs or in twos around the elements besides hydrogen till you have the total number of valence electrons. So here we have 2, 4, 6, but we need 8. So that means we need to put 2 more dots. And I'm going to put them around nitrogen because remember it says don't do it around hydrogen because it only needs 2. So that is step 3. Step 4. Move dots or make double or triple bonds until every element has 8 around it except for hydrogen, which only needs 2. So let's see if it's happy. Sometimes you don't have to move them at all. It's already where it needs to be and it's already happy. So nitrogen needs 8 to be happy. Here we have 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's happy. The hydrogens only need 2 electrons around it to be happy. So the H has 2 right here in this line, so that one's happy. This H has 2 right there in that line, so it's happy. And this H has 2 right here, so it's happy. So that's done. That's how you would draw this element. So let's do one more example. So step 1, we need to add up the number of valence electrons. So C for CO2, I already have it written out, so let's look at our periodic table. C is right here, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4 valence electrons. Let's look at oxygen, which we did earlier, but I'll show you again, is right here. So it has 6 valence electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we have 2 oxygens because of this number right there. So we would have 6 twice. So 6 plus 6. If we add this number up, we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 electrons. Step 2. Draw your lines between your center element and all the other elements. Whenever you draw this, you will not have to color code. I'm just doing it to help you all visualize what's going on. Step 3. Draw dots around the elements besides hydrogen till you get to your total number of electrons. So here we have 2, 4, but we need 16. So I'm going to draw dots around, there's no hydrogen, so around these elements until we get to 16 electrons. I just like to start at one end, and you do have to make sure it's in pairs or 2 on each side until I get to 16. So insert, shape, circle, and then for time's sake, I just will copy and paste. So Control C, Control V. So put 2 there, 2 on this side. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8. 10, 12. And if there's a line, you don't put dots there. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14. 16. So we got to 16, which is this number right here. So now we need to see if everything's happy or if we need to move dots around. So here this oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's happy, it's good. This carbon has 2, 4, 6, 8. It's happy, it's good. This oxygen only has 2, 4. So it's not happy. So what we can do, we can take these 2 dots and move it and turn it into a bond right there. So now it's a double bond, or there's 2 lines. So that would be 2, 4, 6. So we're getting closer to 8, but we're still not quite at 8. So if we take these 2 dots and change them to a bond over here, now we have 2, 4, 6, 8 for carbon and 2, 4, 6, 8 for oxygen, and everything's happy. So once you have done this, then you are complete with this image. Now, you may have more than one correct answer on this. As long as you only have 16 electrons drawn and everything has 8 around it, then you have a correct way for you to draw this compound. If you have any questions on this in your digital notebook, there are 4 covalent bonds you will need to draw. You insert lines for the bonds, and then for dots, I did insert, shape, circle, and then once I drew one, I just copied and pasted it until I had all the valence electrons that I needed. If you have any questions or if you're not sure how to do this, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you and walk you through it.